Ever wonder what happened to Doc Ock after Spider-Man No Way Home? Well, he put on a Sherlock Holmes hat, and now he started solving mysteries on Amazon Prime Video. Hey, what is up everybody? It is me, Anthony, and I am back with a recap and a review for another series that you probably haven't heard about, and that is Three Pines. This one is starring Alfred Molina, and I can't wait to talk about this one. Three Pines is a mystery series starring Alfred Molina, based on the Chief Inspector Gamache novel series by Louise Penny. There's 18 books in this series, so you know that Amazon is really hoping that this succeeds because they got a lot of content to use. From what I saw, most of the books take place in the town called Three Pines, which has an interesting cast of characters, to say the least. The series first caught my eye because of the lead star, Alfred Molina, who for me is best known for his portrayal of Dr. Octavius in the Spider-Man Sam Raimi series, and most recently in the new Spider-Man film No Way Home. Really good, by the way. I'm also not the biggest whodunit fan, but the trailer drew me in, and I will say that after the first 2 episodes, I think I might be a fan of the genre. So let's get into episode 1 of the series, titled Whiteout Part 1. So the episode begins with a protest outside of the Quebec police station where a crowd of indigenous people demand that they look for their missing daughters. One of the officers takes things a little bit too far and starts to get rough with one of the protesters named Misty Two River. Inspector Gamache, who has been watching this thing the whole time, rushes out to aid Misty and tells the cop to back off. Gamache gives Misty and her family a ride home, and this is when he learns that Misty's daughter, Blue, is missing. He promises to help Misty and quickly starts to gather information. He asks one of his good friends, Pierre, to look into the Blue case and to run the license plate of her boyfriend, Tommy Kiss. So I really love this introduction to Inspector Gamache, and part of me, guys, because I'm not really good with names, especially with the, French last names, so I don't think I'm going to be butchering them. Just that's what I'm saying. I really like this introduction. It really shows the character of Gamache and showing that, he's a really good guy. And I really like that they showed it in just a short amount of time, and we really get to know him. We know what his morals are. We are then introduced to Cree and her father Richard as they are running late for Cree's recital at the town's church. Cree worries that her mother won't make it in time, but her father assures her that she will be there. We then see Cree's mother, Cece, in bed with the famous photographer Saul Petrov. So we know what's been keeping her mother from seeing her daughter's recital. She is holding a Christmas ornament that she says that was the last one from her childhood before her mother destroyed them all. Saul confesses that he loves Cece, but she blows him off. And I now realize that that's probably a wrong word choice for this situation. Back at the church, everyone is staring at Richard and notices that he is alone. Cece finally arrives in the most Cruella de Vil outfit ever and starts arguing with Richard as Cree sings. And she sings pretty well, actually. I was actually kind of surprised, American Idol ready. Back at home, Cece puts her childhood ornament on the Christmas tree, and Cree goes over to get some chocolate candy that was hanging near it and accidentally breaks the ornament. Richard and Cece get into an argument, and Cece says that it was a mistake for her to marry him and to have Cree. And the award for the worst mother in the world goes to... The next day, the whole town comes out to watch a curling match. And then we figure out finally what has happened to the live-action version of the Powerpuff Girls. We are shortly introduced to a few of the townspeople as they gossip about Cece, and we will get to know each of the characters later on in the episode and in the series as a whole. There's a lot of great cast and a lot of cool, quirky people that we need to talk to, but like I said, we'll talk about that later on in this episode. Richard and Cree go over to meet up with Cece and Saul, and you can tell right away that Richard knows, or at least is suspicious, on what's going on with his wife and the photographer. Cece goes over to sit into the metal chair that has a heating lamp beside it to watch the curling match. Cece starts to get a little warm and takes off her gloves and places her hands on the arms of the chair and starts to get electrocuted. One of the townspeople, Ruth Zardo, smells something off and sees that Cece is dead in the chair. We then cut to Inspector Gamache as he gets called to investigate the death of Cece in Three Pines. Then they do a really cool montage, like slow down montage, as Inspector Gamache is riding through the town as he first gets there, and they kind of stop and they slow-mo showing you like each character in this town, each prominent character in this town, and it's kind of like puts the focus on them saying like, look, These are the suspects, and you got to get ready for this ride. Gamache arrives at the scene and is joined by John Guy, Isabel Lacoste, and my favorite character so far, Yvette Nicole. She means well, but she's not really the smartest in the bunch. Yvette shows Gamache and the rest of the group the crime scene, and Gamache does his thing as he goes into full Sherlock Holmes mode. Gamache sees that the generator that was powering the heater has jumper cables attached to it, making the possibility of murder even greater. Gamache meets with Cece's husband and daughter to ask them a few questions. Gamache then spends the rest of the day interviewing the townspeople and quickly learns that Cece was not the most liked person in the town. He then comes to the conclusion that everybody is a suspect. And I'll talk more about the individual characters in this show because they go through like a full montage of like interviewing each of these characters, and we get a little bit of hints whether or not if they are suspects or not, or at least if I think they're suspects or not, because there's a couple characters where I'm like, I don't think they did it, but you never know with a show like this. But like I said, towards the end of this video, I'm going to be going down and breaking down each of the characters and what I think about it and whether or not I think they should be a suspect. Gamache goes back to the crime scene to see if he can get more information when he sees a bluebird land on the metal chair that Cece was killed in. Immediately, I was thinking that this is some sort of sign pertaining to the case that he first was starting out in this episode with the missing indigenous girl Blue, and it's kind of weird that they're putting this kind of like, I wouldn't say supernatural elements, but maybe like spiritual kind of elements in this show. I didn't think that we were going to go that far or go that route with this type of show, but hey, I'm intrigued. Gamache gets a message from his friend Pierre about the missing girl Blue. He then gets sent a picture that was posted a few weeks ago showing Blue and her boyfriend seemingly alive and well. Gamache shows this picture to Blue's family, but they don't believe that she is still alive because if she was, she would have called them already and she wouldn't have abandoned her baby for so long. Gamache then has a nightmare about hitting the same small blue bird that he saw on the chair in Three Pines. He also sees the missing girl Blue right before he wakes up. Gamache comes to a theory that everyone in the town might have been working together to kill Cece because they all were hurt by her at one point. And that is pretty much the end of the episode. And like I said, we're going to jump right into each of the characters that they showed in this show and whether or not I think they did it or not. So let's get to our Sherlock Holmes glass thing. I think McGonagall, what, you know what I'm talking about. Let's just get ready. So B. Mayer, I think I'm saying that right. This is the owner of the Indigenous Art Gallery that shares the same name as Cece's book. She has a great interaction with Isabel in this episode. I really dig the indigenous storytelling that they're talking about in this show. I really hope that we get a lot more in depth with that. I think we are. I mean, one of the main cases that Gamache is going with is looking for this girl Blue. So we're not, that whole indigenous aspect of this show is not going to go anywhere, and so far that's one of my most interesting aspects of the show so far. I do think that she has something that she isn't telling anybody, but that goes for everybody in this town, so I'm not really convinced that she should be a full-on suspect yet. So for now, she's not a suspect. Ruth Sardo. Now, this might be most people's favorite character in this series. She's the crazy old lady author, once famous author, who has a duck. You know, she carries around a duck. And I don't think that, you know, I'm going to say right off the bat, she's not a suspect for me. You know, I don't think she did anything. She just seems like the cranky old lady that, you know, is set in her way. She knows what she's doing. She's been there, done that. And, you know, she just wants you to just leave her alone. Claire and Peter Moreau. Now, Claire is an aspiring painter and Peter is an aspiring painter, or he's a successful one. It's not really fully, like, you know, explored in this episode, but I think these two are probably the most suspicious one. Clara really has a motive of wanting to kill Cece. You know, early on in the episode, she's like saying that she wanted to talk to Saul so she can get some, you know, feedback on her artwork to see if, you know, she can probably get into that kind of field professionally. But Cece kind of blows her off and says, like, you know, he doesn't want anything to do with you. And Peter is really standoffish and really, you know, kind of defensive when it comes to his wife. There's a scene where Gamache is talking to Clara and she's like, you know, they're talking about a painting that she has done for Cece. And Peter comes over and kind of says, like, you know, hey, you know, leave my wife alone, and takes her away. It's kind of suspicious. So right now, I think they are suspect. Oliver and Gabri, the owners of the restaurant, I think they're a couple. You know, it's not really shown in this first episode. But they do something kind of weird. They take down the painting of Cece shortly after she's dead. They kind of look at each other and they're like, yeah, finally we can take this down kind of thing, which is kind of interesting. But as of right now, they're just like the big gossip queens in the town. And I don't think right now they should be listed as a suspect. Myra Landers is the bookstore owner. Cece told her that she needs to put this many books in her bookstore. They didn't really have a good relationship. But again, much like most of the people in this town, she hasn't really shown any kind of like bad blood, like really bad blood towards Cece that I would think that she would want to go as far as kill her. So right now she's not a suspect. Now Richard, Cece's husband, he has the most out of anybody, I think, motivation to kill his wife. He might be angry that he found out that she was having an affair. And he just wanted to kill her. He wanted to kill her off. So right now, he's, as most murder cases go, when you have situation like this, the husband is a suspect. Saul Petroff, this is Cece's lover, the famous photographer. He was shaking during the interview with the cops, but he has having an interview with cops, and anybody gets scared during that time. They focused on the flash drive, or they were just focusing on his hand when he was trying to show them some information. Maybe he has something on that flash drive that he doesn't want people to see. Maybe he has pictures of him and Cece, doing the do kind of stuff. So that's probably why he's nervous. But I don't think that the police, Gamache and, Isabel care, because they kind of know that she was having an affair with him. But he doesn't know that. So that's probably why he was scared. But as of right now, I don't think he is a suspect. I mean, he was in love with Cece, so I don't think he would kill her. And that is it, guys. That is the first episode recap and review that I have for you guys. Let me know what you think of this show, this series so far. If you want more content like this, I reviewed the entire season of The Peripheral, season 1, over here. You can go check that out. All the videos right there. Episode 1 through 8 is right there, so go check that out. But this is a new series, The Three Pines, Alfred Molina. It's already starting to be good. But let me know, guys, in the comments down below. Did you like this? Did you hate this? Also, guys, don't forget to check out my Twitter so you can stay up to date with my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And remember, guys, keep on watching.